So after the latest Epstein files came out, I feel like a lot of people were reminded of Eyes Wide Shut. So I started looking into the movie a bit more, and you come across a bunch of stories and theories, but I just wanted to talk about one of them today. So basically, on the Joe Rogan podcast, Roger Avery, who was a friend to Kubrick, and he was on set at the time of the movie, he talks about how the studio changed Kubrick's movie, and he has a bunch of reasons why. But the thing that stuck out to me was where he thinks that the movie was supposed to end with Helena, who's the main character's daughter, Tom Cruise's daughter, being kidnapped by the cult. Now, I'd never really thought about this when watching the movie. It didn't really make too much sense to me. So I did some digging to try and compile the top reasons why somebody might think this. And I put them in one place since I couldn't really find all of them in one place. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories about this movie, but I just wanted to laser focus on this one for today. So I'll play the video right now.
Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in that final scene in the toy store when she's looking at the Rosemary's Baby bassinet, which is totally Kubrick saying something. And they never take their eyes off their daughter until the moment they take their eyes off and the final line of the movie is coming up. You see those two guys walking off with the daughter. They're taking her away. They've given their daughter to the pedo cult. That's what's happened.
So the plot reasoning is pretty simple. The cult threatens him and his family when he's let go, that if he ever makes any inquiries or he says a single word to anyone, then there's going to be severe consequences. He obviously does tell people throughout the movie, the whole second half of the movie. He tries to go back to the mansion. He goes to see Mandy's body in the morgue. He tells his wife everything. And he does all this without any real punishment. They even give him a second warning, which seems pretty chill for a cult of like super powerful people. I don't think this cult would make empty threats like that, especially the way that Victor talks about them. So first, let's look at the toy store. I'm going to fast forward through this, but like Roger said, you see them going through the toy store, and they never take their eyes off their daughter the entire scene. She's running around. She's picking up different toys to show them. Here she shows them the stroller, which is probably an allusion to Rosemary's Baby. That stroller style is used in that movie, which is also about a mother deciding to give their kid to a cult, and it looks super out of place in this toy store. She shows them a bear. She's very energetic. And then she shows them one more thing. They're talking, and she interrupts their talking with showing them a Barbie. Where is it? Yeah, right here. And then you have this shot where these two stand in the aisle. She goes past them. She goes into the aisle. And that's it. That's all we see of her. We don't see her again for the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie is just these two talking, and it's just close-up shots of the two of them. So the reasoning here would be that Kubrick wanted to make a point of the kid being visible from them throughout the entire scene. She's calling their attention. She's talking to them, all that stuff. And for 3 minutes, she doesn't say or do anything at all. And the question I guess the audience is supposed to ask is, where did she go? Is she okay? What's she doing? And then there's another big thing about this scene. This is a shot in the beginning of the movie when Tom Cruise is at Victor's party. We see two old men. They're both balding with white hair. One of them has glasses, the other one doesn't. They're sitting and talking under the statue. The only time we ever see these guys again is at the very end of the movie in the toy store, when Helena goes missing. I'll just play it again.
I mean, maybe
So these are the two men. She follows them into the aisle. And then she is gone. If you look at the side by side, you can pretty clearly tell they're the same guys. And these are the only two instances we see of the men. You can see this guy looks a lot like this guy. Same hairstyle, same glasses, same head shape, and same with this guy and that guy. To me, this doesn't seem like a coincidence or using extras again. I don't think Kubrick would make a mistake like that. I think it has to be intentional. And if it is intentional, we have to look at what it means. I think what it means is the fact that they were at Victor's party means they're part of the cult. And the cult members showing up at the end at the toy store, it does lend evidence to the theory that they're going to kidnap Helena. To me, this is kind of a smoking gun if you can believe that these two are the same person and you believe that it was intentional to make them the same people. The next point is the fact that the movie is sort of a mirror. So Bill sees the same characters across the movie in the beginning and the end, and it's sort of a mirror where it's the same people in the same order. Like in the beginning and end, he's with his wife and child. Then he goes to Victor's house. Then he sees Mandy. Then he sees Domino, and then in the second half he tries to see Domino again, but Sally is there. Then he sees Nick, and in the second half again he tries to see Nick, but he can't because he was taken. And then he sees Mr. Milich and his daughter. And then the middle of the movie, there's the party. So hopefully I've convinced you that the movie does function like a mirror. The reason I bring this up is how the toy store scene, which happens at the end of the movie, seems to mirror one of the scenes at the party. So I'll let the video speak for itself. So in this scene, Mandy and Helena sort of share the same position where they're both being taken away by the cult. This also seems very intentional. I don't think Kubrick would make these scenes so similar by accident. Even the things they say, the positioning of the characters, it's all very similar. And if you can believe that Kubrick did this intentionally, that it also lends evidence to the fact that Helena was kidnapped at the end of the movie, or she was planned to be kidnapped at the end of the movie. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is the red hair. There's 4 characters with red hair in the movie, red auburnish hair. There's Helena, there's Milich, his daughter, there's Domino, and then there's Mandy. And the theory is that these characters are supposed to represent the same person in different points of their life. So Mandy is at the end of her life as a prostitute. She's been used up and thrown out. Domino is currently doing it as an adult. Milich's daughter is doing it as a teenager. And then Helena is innocent. She hasn't been put into that life yet. However, if there is meant to be a link between these characters, then it also lends evidence to the theory that Helena was abducted by the cult, because this would imply that she ends up becoming like these characters. There's a few other things, like the only time the stuffed tiger is found in Domino's apartment, and then it's seen at the end of the movie in the toy store. And another point that I wanted to make is the movie if it's just about a cult of grown-ups doing weird sex rituals and occasionally killing prostitutes, it's actually not that shocking of a movie. Um, I think a lot of people assume that rich people do weird sex stuff anyway. The real knife in the heart would be if the movie was about child trafficking, right? That's why it's another reason why it might have been the intention to make it about child trafficking by um, making Helena be abducted at the end of the movie. So I'll leave a link of the stuff down below in the description that I found. But these are the most convincing pieces of evidence that I found about this theory. Yeah, that's it.